You do not want to be the guitarist that is playing with just one finger. 3 exercises that I did as a beginner to improve my guitar playing. None of these exercises are flashy, they're not necessarily impressive, and they are arguably boring. But I promise you, they'll improve things like your timing, your finger dexterity, your finger independence, and make learning songs so much easier. The first exercise is the classic spider walk. Could it really have been anything else? You simply start at the top E string at any fret that you would like, but I do recommend starting at a higher fret because it will require less of a reach because the spaces are skinnier, thinner, less wide. Honestly, there's so many different variations of the spider walk that'll either increase or decrease the difficulty. But the easiest, most beginner-friendly way of doing the spider walk is to simply move down one string at a time after you play the fret that your pinky is holding. So for example, if I start on the 7th fret and move one fret up at a time, once I get to the 10th fret with my pinky, then I'm gonna move down to the A string and start back on the 7th fret with my index finger. The key here is to be picking up and down and keeping each note very even. So yeah, that's the easiest way of playing the spider walk. I'll probably make a video in the future that shows different types of spider walks at different skill levels. Moving on to the second exercise, practicing the major scale. I know, it's not flashy. I warned you, it's arguably boring. However, practicing the major scale is going to help you develop finger independence because unlike the spider walk, where we're just moving one fret up at a time, the major scale is going to require you to transition from your middle finger to your pinky, or your index finger to your ring finger. You do not want to be the guitarist that is playing with just one finger. You want to be able to use all of your fingers. So practicing the major scale for 5 to 10 minutes a day is going to help you play so many different riffs. Promise you. The third thing I did as a beginner was chord practice. And I don't mean playing any old chords with any old strumming pattern. What I'm talking about is a very structured and intentional way of practicing chord changes. So I would start by finding 2 chords that were particularly difficult for me to transition between. Then using a metronome set to a very low BPM, I would play one of those chords for 2 to 4 beats and then switch to the next chord for 2 to 4 beats. And then I would just go back and forth between those 2 chords over and over and over again. This is something that I do with literally all of my students when they are learning a new song that has a new chord change in it. Rather than trying to play the chord progression all the way through, we'll strip down the strumming pattern and we'll just look at that new chord transition and we'll practice that over and over again. Then we'll come back and try to play the full chord progression, and like magic, it's so much easier because we are developing the muscle memory. Just try it out and let me know how it goes. I'll be excited to hear how much you have improved. That's what I'm here for. That wraps up the 3 exercises that I did as a beginner to improve my guitar playing. I do all these things with my students and I thought I'd share it with you as well.